Welcome back to Cosmeholics Anonymous. I am your favorite new mama, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is a love and hip hop video. I'm using manual focus, so if I'm blurry, I'm sorry. Can't do anything about it. So the episode started off with Dime's gender reveal. Before the gender reveal, my prediction was that it was going to be a girl. So Sean knew the gender of the baby, but Jessica didn't know the gender, and they were just waiting for Jessica to arrive. So almost everybody was there except for Carly Red. Carly Red was missing. That's because she knew that Sierra and Tokyo were gonna be there. Of course, Melissa shows up. She's walking in this bitch looking like O-Dog. Like, do you know who O-Dog is? I can't. So she came in looking like O-Dog. I was so upset. I thought Mimi looked really pretty. This scene was really boring. Like, honestly, I want to just skip over the shitty scenes and go straight to where it matters, but I ain't gonna do that. Ty was there as well, and I guess Mimi and what's her face and Melissa are on okay terms now with Ty as well. And so when Melissa brought up Carly Red's name, Tokyo was being really petty, acting like she didn't know who the hell that was because of the last episode. So then Sierra finally arrives, and Shooter, my Shooter, I guess he's never seen her before, and so he started asking me if she was a guy, and I'm like, what? He said that Sierra looks like a dude. I'm like, Sierra gets no love in these streets, like, at all. And I was like, no, I love Sierra, like, stop coming for her life. He was so mean. He said that she looks like a dude. He's like, that's a dude. Like, she almost has an Adam's apple. I said, that's not a guy, it's a girl. She has a whole ass baby, like. So then, of course, Sierra starts telling them about the drama with BK. BB Gun was in the building. It was like awkward between them because they didn't acknowledge each other at all. Like, they literally just, she walked right past him. She didn't say hi, and he didn't say hi. And it must be real uncomfortable to be in a room with your ex that you're currently divorcing. Like, I couldn't imagine that. Anyway, Dime walks in and she is looking absolutely stunning. Pregnancy looks so good on her. Her ass is huge though, like it's too big. She's wearing this cute little, I think it was Adidas, but I'm not sure. It could have been Fashion Nova, child. I don't know. So to surprise Jessica, Sean, her baby daddy, flew her dad into town. And she was super happy to see her dad. She said that was the best surprise ever, on top of the fact that the baby was revealed to be a girl. So Mama D takes it upon herself to give Jessica some motherly advice. And the advice she gives her is basically to not be anything like Ernest's mother. And I was just like, oh my god, Mama D has no respect. Like, she's just too much. By the end of this, Jessica Dime's mom is thanking Sean for mending the relationship she has with Jessica. So the next scene, Sean Garrett and Carly Red are out bowling. Carly's doing the absolute most. And they're waiting for Spice to show up with her date. It's supposed to be a double date. Girl, you already know Spice is gonna bring Tobias because that's who she's been talking to. But Carly Red is claiming she had no idea about this, about who Spice was gonna bring. I think that's bullshit. There's no way they didn't talk on the phone before the scene, unless the producers told her not to tell Carly Red that that her date was gonna be Tobias. So Spice rolls up with Tobias, and it wasn't until Spice arrived that I started questioning Carly's wig, because Spice's wig looked a mess. Okay, it was like this blue pixie cut thing. I was like, oh hell no. Her wigs have been looking a mess in every scene except for in Confessional, and I don't understand it. So whatever, she arrives with Tobias. Carly Red is all shocked. Like, am I blurry or not? I really can't freaking tell. So Carly says that Tobias is supposed to be dating Tokyo, and she's confused, and so Tobias is like beating around the bush, basically saying like he's not sure where the relationship lies right now. First of all, if I was Spice, I would have taken that as a red mother effing flag. Like, you're not gonna talk about how you're not sure. Like, no, that's just embarrassing. So in Confessional, Spice starts to say that Tobias told her that he's single, therefore she's ready to mingle. Because if a man tells her that he's single, then that's what it is. When everybody knows love to lie, so I don't know why she's even saying these things. Carly Red starts talking about confrontation she had with Sierra and Amber and all those other people. She's starting to spill the gossip, and Sean Garrett is not impressed at all because he already feels like Carly's mad messy, so he's not trying to be involved with her shenanigans. And of course, she ends up talking about his friend, which is BK, so he does not want to hear Carly talking down on his friend's name. So he starts getting irritated, and he basically starts paging her about talking about things that have nothing to do with her because she's a nosy mother effer. At this point, Sean is storming out. He's not here for Carly's nonsense. He doesn't want none to do with that. And he ends up leaving, but he forgot his shoes. So Carly Red goes and she picks up his shoes, talking about she's gonna burn them. But then he ends up coming back to get his shoes, and he ends up having to chase Carly because she's being childish and running off with the man's $300 sneakers. Like, goodbye. So Tobias asks Spice if she would do that, burn his shoes, and she says maybe, and then he tells her that she's crazy too. All of the girls are basically out. Rashida invited all the girls out, and she basically has somewhat of an announcement to make. So Spice starts telling them about Tommie and the whole pig fiasco, and then this is obviously before Tommie showed up. And so the purpose of this little meeting was so that what's her name, Rashida, could invite everybody to the grand opening of Pressed Houston on Mona's dime. She's playing it off like she's the one that's gonna be paying for the trip. Girl, bye. We all know Mona is footing the bill here. Like, stop this. So they're all there, and Tommie finally arrives, and she asks what's in the pitcher on the table, and they tell her it's Chardonnay, and of course she starts drinking right away. So Rashida starts telling them how she wants to go to a dude ranch, and they're all like, a dude ranch? Like, WTF is that? She starts telling them what it's all about, and then she also says that she'll be inviting the guys too, and this is how we know it's on Mona's bill. Like, stop this. I hate when they act like they're the ones paying for shit when it's production. So of course she says that she's inviting Sean Garrett, and Tommie's like, or she says Sean, and then Tommie's like, my Sean? I guess because there are two Seans, right? There's Sean Garrett, and there's Sean, Jessica Dime Sean. And Jessica Dime actually was not present for this meeting. She is pregnant and got other things to worry about. So once Tommie says, my Sean, and Carly kind of stands up to get clarification as to which Sean Tommie's talking about, because Sean's supposed to be Carly Red Sean. She said Sean Garrett, and she says Sean's always been my Sean. The other day they was talking about they're just, you know, work partners. They don't have anything else going on. But obviously Tommie was just being messy to be messy. She likes to get under Carly Red's skin, and it always works. But Carly Red said in her confessional that Tommie can have Sean Garrett because she's done with him. Anyway, Carly ends up sharing the information that her and Sean are D-U-N done, honey. Okay? She said that their relationship is now strictly business, only gonna be based on the music. Why is Carly Red still making music anyway? Is she even still making music? What is she talking about still the music? Carly Red's music is utter freaking trash. Okay? Nobody is streaming that, buying that. Nobody. So after Carly Red tells them that she's done with Sean, Tommie ends up downing a whole glass of wine with the quickness, and I'm just like, why the hell is she drinking so much? But Tommie, when she arrived, she was already intoxicated. So of course Spice is so pressed about this damn pig, she decides that she's gonna bring up the pig again, and she says to Tommie that she better not be getting a ticket for her pig to come on the trip with them to the dude ranch. So Tommie starts telling Spice that she's out of line for talking down on Tommie's pig because the pig was like having a heart attack. So she had to stay to take care of it. She's being inconsiderate about the pig, and I'm just like, this is too much. Like, the pig was not having no damn heart attack. Tommie is out of freaking control. So of course Spice is getting irritated, and so she starts telling Tommie where she's out of line in regards to the whole music video thing and their business relationship. Tommie of course thinks this is hilarious, and she starts laughing and being disrespectful, because at the end of the day, Spice has a career outside of love and hip hop. So for the fact that she's working with Tommie or giving Tommie a chance to work with her, Tommie should be a little bit more respectful. But she is drunk and she has a drinking problem. So obviously she's not going to be considerate if she's drunk, you know. So while this is all going on, while Spice and Tommie are arguing, Erica Mena is basically trying to take advantage of Tommie, who is drunk. And so I'm watching this all play out and I'm like, honestly, if Erica Mena was a dude, this would be considered harassment, sexual assault. Like, she was doing the absolute most. Like, we understand you like her, we get it. Okay, great. Moving on. Like, she's doing too fucking much. So during this argument, Tommie decides to put a little patois on us. And she starts telling Spice that it's gonna be tree much work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even freaking deal. Tommie is literally out of control. Like, so at this point, everyone is staring. And Tommie actually starts arguing with somebody that's off set. Like, that's on set, sorry. But off camera, like a producer or like, you know. And the reason is because when they were talking about Sean Garrett, somebody offset said something about scrap and she said fuck scrap. And then she started going off on that person and the producer started yelling at her to tell her or like to remind her that they were filming still. And I was just like, what the hell is this? Like, this is too much. So they weren't done for filming for the day. This wasn't their last scene to film. And so they start yelling at Tommie and telling her, we have another location to go to. Like, you know, you're hindering us. Focus on what you need to focus on. So at this point, Tommie picks up one of the glasses that is on the table. I think it was Erica's glass. And she pours the Hennessy into her wine. And she downs it. She just chugs it all back. All at the same time. And I'm like, what is going on right now? Like, she's doing the freaking most. This conversation was really hard to follow. There was a lot going on. She said she's going to jail tonight. The girls are telling her no. Why would she be going to jail tonight? Honestly, none of it was making sense. It all just sounded like drunk gibberish. So of course, Erica, being the predator that she is, starts telling Tommie that she wants to go to jail with her. Like, doing the most. I don't know why Erica is doing this shit. I don't care. So at this point, I was like, okay, they're building the whole Tommie is a drunk storyline so they could put her in AA like they did Tiara Marie. But I don't think that's necessarily what is going to happen at this point because, well, you'll know why by the end of this. By the end of this scene, I realized that Tommie was not the only drunk person. It takes a long time to film a scene, so they were sitting there for a while drinking, and I realized that everybody was pretty much drunk, but Tommie was next level drunk. And because of that, security had to step in, and once security stepped in, the screen went black, and they posted this message on the screen. And that's basically all that happened for that scene, and then we moved on to the next scene. So in this next scene, BK is telling Jock and Sean about the whole Sierra and Amber fiasco. Well, and Joy, actually. It's not just Sierra and Amber. And so Jock says that he smashed Amber before and he enjoyed it. So they ask if he smashed Amber and he basically says not this time or not that time that she came over that day. Jock doesn't believe one word of this. In confessional, he had the most to say. I'm gonna insert what he looked like. He was doing this face that was just priceless. So then they proceed to ask him about joy and he's like, joy is joy. I said, what the hell does that even mean? What are you talking about, joy is joy? What does that mean? Like, BK is too freaking messy. So Sean Garrett is sipping his tea and begins to spill some of his own and starts telling them about the whole bowling alley fiasco with Carly Red. And so Jock is basically like, I told you so. But then in confessional, he kind of says like, he's not going to talk down on Carly, even if she is a little messy. He doesn't see how it's Carly Red's fault that BK is messing with 17 different bitches. And I was like, these are the facts of life, honestly. People can only talk about what you give them to talk about. And so BK is out here with this bitch, that bitch, and the next bitch, and then expecting people to not be talking about him. It doesn't really work like that. Carly should be minding her business, but at the same time, BK shouldn't be such a fucking dog. And if he wasn't a dog, Carly Red wouldn't have anything to talk about. Well, she would still have stuff to talk about, but it just wouldn't involve him. So, to end this conversation, Sean Garrett says that he won't be holding Carly Red down, but he will definitely still be tearing it down. I said, I can't. He said he's still gonna smash. I said, I cannot even deal. So Sierra, Tokyo, and Carly meet up because the last time they saw each other, it wasn't really the greatest meeting ever. Carly fucked up. Tokyo is very uninterested at this point. She doesn't really give a damn. Like, she doesn't want to see Carly Red at all. So Sierra tells Carly Red that she was very wrong for setting up that meeting. She should have came to her, you know, on the side by herself and had a conversation with her privately instead of in front of all those random people. So of course Carly is there trying to defend herself and explain what her intent was, because obviously her intent was not to hurt Sierra, only to help Sierra. So the conversation shifts and Carly Red starts trying to tell Tokyo about her encounter with Spice, and that Spice brought Tobias on the date with her. And she had no idea that that was going to be the case. Of course, Tokyo is going to be annoyed with Carly Red because Carly's supposed to be her friend. And she's basically doing the exact same thing that Sierra just talked to her about. Even if Sierra and Tokyo are friends, Carly still shouldn't be just talking Tokyo's business in front of Sierra. Like, what if she didn't want Sierra to know that? So Tokyo asked Carly Red, so why didn't you call me? Like, when did you go to the bowling alley? It's been days. Like, why didn't you call me to tell me that Tobias was there with her? Because Tokyo's saying that since they broke up, Tobias has been hitting her up every day trying to get back together with her. So it doesn't make sense that he's out on a date with another girl. So Carly says that she did indeed call Tokyo, but Tokyo didn't answer her phone. I mean, at a moment like this, all you need to do is pull out your call log, bitch, and prove that you called, because apparently she ain't called. So Tokyo says that Carly Red is lying. She did not call her phone. She had no missed calls from Miss Carly. And she says that if she feels like she's being played, then both her and Tobias, so Carly Red and Tobias, are gonna have to see Miss Tokyo, honey. And Miss Tokyo ain't playing no games with these haters. They too fake and they phony. Okay? So she's really not trying to hear nothing Carly Red has to say. She gets upset and she's ready to storm out. She don't give a fuck about Carly, Tobias, or Spice, Paprika, don't matter. And I was on the floor. I said, oh my god, not Paprika, child. Not Paprika. So once Tokyo storms out, Sierra tells Carly Red that she needs to find a better delivery when she's telling people information, because she sucks at delivering news to people. She is always the bearer of bad news, never good news, and it's getting old. And she's pissing everybody off now. It's bad when you start to piss off your own friends. So Carly tells Sierra it's whatever, because clearly they all need to do better when it comes to choosing the men in their life. And at the end of the day, she just wants to make sure that Sierra is A-okay. So Sierra says that she knows that Carly loves her. She's only trying to be a good friend, and that basically squashes their little beef. So Sierra starts telling Carly Red how she is done with BK, and when she went to go talk to him the other day, she basically acted like it was all good and gravy, like she was gonna forgive him. But since that day, she has not been answering his calls, his texts. She's been ignoring him because the girl that came with the receipts, Amber, had too many, you know, valid receipts. He was calling her his best friend, and he was doing the absolute most. So Sierra said, bye, see you never, don't want nothing to do with you. So of course Carly takes it upon herself to invite Sierra to Houston with the rest of the crew. I didn't know you could have +1s, child. If this was Basketball Wives, it would be a whole other story. But she basically tells her like she wants her to come to Houston, but then she drops the bomb that BK is going to be in Houston as well as Sean Garrett, and she tells her that her and Sean are actually no longer dating. Sierra is shocked by this, so it's like their relationships ended at the same damn time. By the end of this conversation, they were talking about the humidity in Houston and how she's gonna have to be packing her lace front glue because that shit finna be lifting up. This next scene kindly reminded me that Just Brittany was on the show, because I totally forgot about her, like all about her. Had no idea she was still on the show. She was at some boutique trying on clothing for her performance that's going to be in Houston. Of course, everybody's going to Houston. This is how we know it's not Rashida's money that's being spent. Miss Tiara shows up, and Tiara actually looks kind of cute. Tiara is kind of like the new Arian. Like, she has no real purpose on the show. She's just filling in a couple gaps where they need her to fill it in. So, of course, Brittany starts telling her about the grand opening in Houston, and she's giving her an invite. And honestly, at this point, I started daydreaming, so I can't tell you guys the entire conversation. But from what I've gathered, Tiara started to tell her about the whole Jasmine fiasco, and she basically was saying like she wants Jasmine to be able to confront Rashida, and where better to do it at her grand opening, because clearly Rashida's gonna be at her own grand opening. That's the only place that, you know, they can actually corner her. And so Just Brittany is she's very business minded, and she is pretty professional. Well, at least that's the image she tries to portray. And so she tells Tiara that she does not think that's a good idea, and that her invite is not extended to Jasmine for her to be messy. She only is sending an invite to Tiara, and Tiara needs to not bring Jasmine to her performance because she's not trying to have that. She's not trying to be associated or attached to that. Like, no. She's performing at Rashida's event. She does not need that drama. So in this next scene, Rashida has like a Morgan Freeman-ass monologue. She's just talking over some vibe music and slow-mo scenes of people packing to get ready to go to Houston. And the people packing to go to Houston was literally everybody, including Jasmine. When I saw Jasmine and Cannon sitting on her bed, I was like, oh god, she's really gonna go. Tiara clearly didn't listen. This is gonna be the messiest trip to Houston. They are gonna go fuck up Houston's airwaves. Like, I can't even deal. So in the next scene, they land in Houston and they're on a bus. On the bus, Mimi asks Sierra who she invited on the trip. Of course, she says Tokyo. Spice kind of screws up her face and asks her like why she invited Tokyo. And I'm just like, Spice, what the fuck? Where are you coming from with that? Like, what do you mean why she invited Tokyo? So Sierra's like, oh, my homie, like you don't like her. And so Spice says to her, I don't know her. But obviously Spice is just acting this way because she knows that Tokyo is Tobias's girl or whatever. Or was Tobias's girl not too long ago. In confessional, Spice starts getting real petty and messy. And she starts shading Tokyo, and she says that she has no interest in getting to know... What does she call her? Oh my gosh. Shanghai? No, she calls her... Japan, China. And I'm just like, what in the foolishness? Like, Japan and China are two different places. Tokyo is definitely in Japan, but it's not in China. She was just but then again, Tokyo did call Spice Paprika, so I guess if you're gonna poke fun at somebody's nickname, it has to go along with the theme. So she also does mention the fact that all of them are grown, so her and Tobias and Tokyo are all grown people. So as long as Tokyo is cool, then she's cool as well. She's hoping that Tokyo doesn't, you know, try anything with her, because now that her and Tobias are flirting, she doesn't want it to be drama. But I didn't know that flirting was a thing. Like, I thought that you're either dating or you're not. I didn't know it was a thing to be called flirting. So Spice asked Sierra about BK, And Sierra basically starts telling them where she's at, but then Spice interrupts her and asks if she took BK back after all that drama. And then she didn't even let her finish answering her question. And I was just like, why does nobody respect this woman? She was trying to tell them that she did not take him back, that she's not talking to him because he was doing absolutely too much. And she wasn't able to because they cut her off and started like laughing and teasing her that she took him back, but that's not even the case. Anyway, Spice brings up Tommie and basically says that she's excited to see her because she wants to talk to her. She talks about how Tommie has so much potential, but she tends to throw it away. And she thinks that Tommie has deeper rooted issues, and Spice is taking it upon herself, or says that she wants to get to the bottom of whatever those issues are, because, you know, she just sees so much potential and she wants to help her out and she wants to work with her. She doesn't think that Tommie's anger and Tommie's behavior is coming out of nowhere, which obviously it isn't. She says that she's a little frustrated because she had to cancel their video launch party because of Tommie. And at this point, Stephanie, who is one of the producers of the show, one of the execs, she ends up meeting them outside of the tour bus, and so they are kind of concerned because they're like how they don't really see Stephanie unless it's detrimental. You know, she's usually behind the scenes. She doesn't come to talk to them unless it's serious. So they're like, I wonder what she's here about, you know? So everybody's kind of worried about why Stephanie is there. And so they get off the bus and Stephanie summons them to come inside. So once they all get inside, Stephanie starts to tell them about Tommie. She basically tells them that Tommie will not be joining them. And so everybody's like, oh, what the heck? What's going on? And so she's being very vague with them. And so Jock asks her if Tommie like tried to hurt herself. And so she's like, no, that's not it. But what I will say is that Tommie has been breaking a lot of rules. And, you know, we've had problems with people before, but when you're attacking security on set, like, that's not why security's here. But she's basically telling them that Tommie is doing way too much and they want her to get help and they're gonna try to do as much as they can for her, but as of right now, she's not welcome on set at all. So basically, she was just there to tell them that Tommie has been breaking too many rules and they can't be bothered to deal with her anymore. For right now, in layman's terms, the bitch fired. Or she's on a temporary leave of absence, girl. I don't know what to say about it, but I don't know if she'll be back or not. I know Tommie posted on Instagram the other day and she had on an ankle monitor. So I guess she's trying to get her shit together. Tommie's not allowed to attack security. And until she learns that, she is not welcome in the building. They claim they're going to help her, but honestly, they are a part of the problem, so I don't see how they could help her. Like, you guys know that she drinks. Why are you going to have Chardonnay in the middle of the fucking table? Come on. I don't really know which one I want to use. Like, I want to use both. So, of course, Mimi starts detailing what happened the last time she was in the same room with Tommie, which all the girls were present for that. And she starts telling the guys about the incident. It's obvious production instructs them on what to talk about. So, Mimi's talking about how she saw Tommie down the whole bottle of wine or whatever, the pitcher of wine, plus she poured the Hennessy from somebody else's glass into her glass and mixed it with the Chardonnay and drank it. She's doing a lot here. She's telling the guys that that's what Tommie said. Everybody's face is like shocked. They're like, can't believe that Tommie was acting that way on set. Then they start telling her, she starts telling them about how she was belligerent on set and she was like cursing somebody off set. It basically felt like an intervention without Tommie. Like, I don't even know how to explain that. Estelita starts chiming in and she says, like, you know, I don't know Tommie all that well, but it was sad to see her like that, blah, 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 blah. She basically backs up what Mimi says, and then the last person to say something about the situation was Spice, and she was just like how, you know, she's saddened by it. She's really sad about Tommie. It's clear that Spice likes Tommie as a person, but she knows that she just has demons to battle right now, and so she's trying to understand where Tommie's coming from. So, on the next Dragon Ball Z, honey, it's going to be getting real. They're building up the anticipation for Tokyo and Spice to have their little powwow. And honestly, I don't think it's going to be all that dramatic. Like, it's really not. Love and Hip Hop loves to build up the anticipation for something. And then once we see it, it's not even as good as the preview. Like, come on. I think I'm going to do an orange lip. But for now, I'm just going to put on my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. And of course, a look is not complete unless you said it. This is my MAC matte spray. Bless the Lord. She drank?
I gave her
a squeezy?
Yeah. She cribbed.
So that's basically it for this episode of Love and Hip Hop. I will see you guys next week to continue the drama. I love you all, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.